The LiveWire Del Mar is now in the home stretch. Today, as a reservation holder, I received information about the final specifications of the LiveWire Del Mar, and it's very exciting. As per the way that LiveWire usually does things, is they have basically under-promised and over-delivered for what they've achieved with the bike. The bike is built for speed, agility, and linear acceleration. We'll get into that a little bit more later. And it's loaded with what I'll call electronic trickery. So first, let's get into what we've learned about the specs of the bike. This has actually been published now, and this is what the motorcycle is going to have on it. I'm going to start out talking with the safety features of the bike, which I'll call electronic Nanny controls. Now, there's the Nanny and there's the wooden spoon, and she smacks you when you do something bad. But in this case, the motorcycle has got the most advanced Bosch 6-axis IMU. And not only has it got that, but LiveWire has added some things to it. A cornering enhanced ABS. Now, LiveWire's is a little bit different than the regular Bosch because it independently is controlling the ABS on the front and rear tire. Now, I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a second. It's got the drag torque slip control, which is if you roll off the throttle hard in a corner, it keeps the regen or the drag of the regen from skidding out the back tire. And then the cornering enhanced traction control. So cornering enhanced ABS is, about stopping when you're leaned over, braking the bike. The cornering enhanced traction control is about accelerating out of the corner when you're leaned over. Now, I have ridden many bikes with traction control and the Bosch system. I can tell you that from my experience, I believe that the reason the LiveWire, or the Del Mar in this case, the reason the Del Mar Bosch system is so much better than anything else I've been on is that I think it's a lot easier and more precise to control an electric motor, the speed of it and the torque of it and the RPM of it, than it is a gas engine. In other words, if you've got something like a Ducati Street Fighter, you got an 1100cc motor with all kinds of mass spinning around, you've got spark plugs and cam chains and all kinds of things, and from the time you shut the motor down or speed it up to when the motor responds, there's a certain amount of time there. Whereas an electric motor, it's almost, it's less than a revolution. In a few degrees, the motor can instantly change its torque, speed, RPM, whatever. And so I think what it works out to, or what it comes out to in the end, is that electric motorcycles like the Del Mar, since they have more precise electronics in terms of being able to control the speed of the motor, that you get a much better control when you're riding the bike. I think that's why when I was riding the Del Mar on my test drive, I was so impressed with the way that it came out of corners and braked into corners, is because it's able to handle the engine much more precisely. I also think that an electric motor and drivetrain has much less mass than something like a liter bike with a bunch of pistons and crankshafts and everything else. So just from the standpoint of the pure physics of the weight of the drivetrain, I think you can get a lot better traction control and cornering ABS on an electric bike than you can on a gas bike. I'm not an engineer, I'm just guessing, but I can tell you when I ride the bike, it's a giant difference. The other thing that I want to point out, because I know a lot of people don't like Nanny controls, they would rather just ride the bike on their own. What we're talking about here is a 435-pound motorcycle. That's the published weight of the Del Mar. 435-pound bike with 194 foot-pounds of torque. So it's very light bike. It's got power beyond, when I say power, torque beyond any motorcycle of any kind. And if you don't have the proper controls dialed in for being able to ride the bike, you just can't do it. So the days of saying, hey, I'm my own traction control, I'm my own ABS, I don't need this stuff, those days are gone. When you're talking bikes this light with this much power, you absolutely have to have it, and it has to work correctly. So much for that. Next thing I want to talk about is They actually previewed the new website for the reservation holders. And what they seem to be focusing on in terms of what the bike is about is speed, agility, and linear acceleration. I could not agree more. There's no more of this soulful by design stuff. They're talking about speed, agility, and linear acceleration, and I think that that explains the bike completely. Now, what's interesting is they have posted the Del Mar 0 to 60 acceleration at 3 seconds, which is identical to what they posted for the LiveWire 1, or have posted for a long time. Now, those with the LiveWire 1 know there's a couple of tricks you can do with the throttle control settings to get a little bit faster than 3 seconds 0 to 60. But, you know, when I had a chance to drag race 2 LiveWire 1s 3 different times with riders about my weight, 2 out of the 3 times I spanked both those LiveWire 1s with a Del Mar, and the only reason I lost the second time is because I got a little bit of wheel spin, you know, on the cross, or on the paint on the crosswalk. But the Del Mar is faster, it accelerates harder, and of course the reason it accelerates harder and is faster, it's 130 pounds lighter than the LiveWire 1 and has 110 more foot-pounds of torque than the LiveWire 1. So that's pretty much all you need to know. I mean, you could do things to the Del Mar. You could, like, you know, drop the front end in the forks. You could raise the back end. You could do all kinds of things. Get some more weight in the front. You can make that bike go, you know, accelerate a whole lot faster. Now, you know, where it's at is a wonderful balance. The bike is very, very fast, but it is, I would say, the definition of speed, agility, and linear acceleration. They did also publish the top speed of the bike is 104 miles an hour, which I thought was interesting because I can only get an indicated 101. I'm thinking maybe the indicated 101 is really 104 in real life. I'm not sure, but the bike is plenty fast. What they also did is they published the range at various speeds for the Del Mar. So they published the city, combined stop and go at 55 miles an hour, highway 55 miles an hour sustained, combined stop and go at 70, and highway 70 miles per hour sustained. Now, I've got 2 columns here. One's marked Del Mar, the other one's marked LiveWire 1 Me. So this is my experience on my bike. I've got about 15,000 miles now on my bike. I've had about exactly a year on my LiveWire 1. So these are the results that I'm getting. So when I'm in the city, just driving around, I get about 150 miles on the bike. The Del Mar is claiming 113 miles. Now, combined stop and go 55 miles per hour, what that means to me is that means, you know, a little bit of interstate, a little bit of city, kind of drive around LA where you're on the freeway a little bit, then drop off on side roads. That's what I'm kind of considering that. In that case, I get about 110 miles on a charge. Del Mar is claiming 86 miles. A highway, 55 mile an hour sustained speed. If I just get out there and set cruise control at 55 miles an hour and run down the road, I get about 100 miles on a charge. They're saying that Del Mar will get 70. The combined stop and go at 70, Del Mar's claiming 62. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by combined stop and go 70, but, you know, driving around on the freeways and, you know, surface streets in LA, I get about 100 miles. You know, going those kind of speeds. And then a sustained highway speed, meaning you set the control at 70, or you set the speed or the cruise control at 70 miles per hour. Del Mar is claiming 43 miles. On my LiveWire 1, I get 65 miles. So that gives you a little bit of a feel. The Del Mar does not have the range of the LiveWire 1. I've been thinking about this a lot, you know, why it doesn't, and I think there's 2 trade-offs that are being made. Number one is that the Del Mar has 100 and I forget what the number is. What is it? It's 130 pounds lighter than a LiveWire 1. So, I mean, that to get that kind of weight off the bike, I think you have to use a smaller battery pack, obviously. The other one, of course, is cost. It probably, I'm assuming it costs less for the smaller battery pack on the Del Mar than it does on the LiveWire. The LiveWire is $23,995. The Del Mar is $15,500. So I understand the trade-offs they're making, but it's not just a trade-off for price. It's a trade-off to get you the 130 pounds off the bike so you get a handling like nothing I've ever experienced before on any motorcycle. So that's that's how it shakes up in terms of the range at various speeds. They also published the charging speeds, and they also published a 10.5 kilowatt nominal. Now, I don't know what nominal means in LiveWire talk. That might mean that that's the minimum amount that the battery can do. Maybe it's a larger battery, but only 10.5 nominal. I'm not sure exactly. But again, they printed level 1 charging, which would be plugged into a socket. From 20 to 80%, they said 5.9 hours. And then on level 1 from 0 to 100, so that's from dead to all the way full on level 1, plugged into the wall, they're saying that was 8.4 hours. Now, as an example, the Del Mar LiveWire 1 level 1 does 11 hours. So if my LiveWire 1 is totally dead and I plug into the wall, I get 11 hours to charge, okay? Now level 2 on the Del Mar, 20 to 80 is 78 minutes. If I'm going 20 to 80% on my LiveWire 1, I'm getting it in 30 minutes. So it's between 78 minutes and 30 minutes. Now level 2, Del Mar, it's 142 minutes from dead to 100%. So 142 minutes. The LiveWire 1 is 60 minutes. So again, the LiveWire 1 has a bigger battery pack and can charge faster. The disadvantage is it weighs 130 pounds more and costs, I guess, about $7,000 more. So that's what the trade-off is there. Now, the other thing is I wanted to point out that I don't know exactly what the right term would be. I'm calling it electronic trickeries, okay? This bike has a bunch of electronic stuff on it that has not been seen on a motorcycle before. Now, the LiveWire 1 is got a lot of electronics on it and probably the highest tech bike ever before the Del Mar, but the Del Mar takes it to another level. They have what they're calling software updates. So they can actually download to your bike enhancements to the bike, like more ride modes, better traction control and ABS, different features that they can add on a remote basis to your bike over a cellular network. The other thing, too, they have mobile app pairing, and that means that you can run applications on your phone that actually talk to the cloud, not only while the bike is parked, but also while the bike is running. Event detection, they're talking about being able to assist if the bike is in an accident, to be able to contact emergency services, that kind of thing. And then horn and light control via the app, meaning that if you lose your bike in the parking lot or something, you can honk the horn and blink the lights. And also the tire pressure management system can also be controlled on the mobile app. Now, this is what they're publishing to the owners right now, but I can tell you from having read the SEC filings that the bike does a lot more than this electronically. One of the things that it does, according to the SEC filings, is it can do remote diagnostics, which is really cool because they can monitor your bike and see what's going on with your batteries and everything remotely without you having to take it anywhere. So that's a nice feature. But anyway, one thing I did want to say about the information I got and the website and the rest of it is I really think that the website, when you see it, the new Del Mar website, I think it's very clear about what the bike's about. I think it's really straight and to the point. And after having ridden the bike, I really feel that they're describing it properly, and the thing is being properly positioned for what it is and for what it costs. But anyway, I'm getting more and more excited every day to receive my bike. I'm in the one of the first 100 reservation holders, so very much looking excited to it. Excited to get to it, and I'll be doing a bunch more videos as I find out information to keep you guys up to date. Have a great evening.